Welcome to this edition of Ask the Preacher. Our question today is it a sin to not help the homeless man or woman when you see them on the street corner? First of all, let's broaden this a little bit because the person doesn't have to be on the street corner. It can be many different circumstances that we find where we become aware of the needs that somebody has. And a lot of times when we see somebody on the street corner with a sign, and I remember a cartoon a number of years ago that a person was apparently during caveman days, and they were holding up a sign that said, "We'll hunt for food." And they would rather stand there, of course, and have somebody give them food. As soon as you say, is it a sin? Number one, it causes me to look in the Bible. Because if it's not defined as a sin, you have to wonder what other scriptures that are not specific to this might indicate that it's a sin if it's not specified. Also, if it's a sin, that means that every time we need to do what we believe honors God and what obeys God. And when I look at this question, to me, I see two extremes that are both wrong. If we never help anybody, that's wrong. We can call that sin. If we can feel compelled to help everyone who has a need, I don't know that I would call that sin if that's a conviction from God, but I don't see God giving that conviction very often. What I see is that we need to pray and seek the Lord in many circumstances. Because if we help everyone, then we might run out of money and not be able to pay our bills, and paying our bills is a responsibility that Christians have. We might not be able to provide for our own family if we help others. And again, we're supposed to take care of our family. But if we help no one, that probably suggests that our hearts are in the wrong place. Whether that means our hearts are hardened against people or against the leading of God, I'll let you decide for yourself. I see scripture passages like Deuteronomy 15. If anyone is poor among your fellow Israelites in any of the towns of the land, the Lord your God is giving to you, do not be hard. Let me start that again. Deuteronomy 15 says, if anyone is poor among your fellow Israelites in any of the towns of the land the Lord your God is giving you, do not be hard-hearted or tight-fisted toward them. Rather, be open-handed and freely lend them whatever they need. Go down a few verses. Give generously to them, and do so without a grudging heart. Then because of this, the Lord your God will bless you in all your work and in everything you put your hand to. There will always be poor people in the land. Therefore, I command you to be open-handed toward your fellow Israelites who are poor and needy in your land. Now, we are not Israelites. We are Christians. We have not been given cities, and so there are definite differences here. But to me, the principle is to be open-handed, to be loving, to be caring, to be trusting God that He's going to take care of our needs if we listen to Him and do what He tells us to do. I also think of Matthew chapter 25, where Jesus is talking about the judgment, and He says to those on His right, you're in good shape here, you sheep. Because when I look at you, I realize that you have helped others around you. And let me get to the actual wording of the scripture here. Then the king will say to those on his right, come, you who are blessed by my Father, take your inheritance, the kingdom prepared for you since the creation of the world. For I was hungry, and you gave me something to eat. I was thirsty, you gave me something to drink. I was a stranger, you invited me in. I needed clothes, and you clothed me. I was sick, and you looked after me. I was in prison, and you came to visit me. Then the righteous will answer him, Lord, when did we see you in these different ways? The king replied, truly I tell you, whatever you did for one of the least of these brothers and sisters of mine, you did for me. And so we have the opportunity to help others around us. And as I say, I don't see God compelling us to help every person that we see. I also don't see us judging people that we see and treating them harshly. We don't know their circumstance. We don't know, but that we could be in a similar circumstance at some point in the future or somebody who is near and dear to our hearts. And so I don't think it's a sin to not help people at times, but I think it's a sin to be hard-hearted against God and against others. And so let's do what God leads us to do to help those around us. Thank you for asking the preacher.